in what appears to be one of the most fascinating stories in recent history. This submergible submarine tin can bathysphere death chamber bucket of bolts flimsy lunatic attempt at observing up close a disaster, which turned into a disaster. This is in no way meant to mock or deride or in any way blame the victims. But this is one of the most fascinating cases. Why? Why did it happen? Why did so many billionaires go on something which was so fundamentally unsafe to anybody who knows nothing about submergibles or whatever you call these things? What was this? Why? This was a tube that basically had more billionaires per square inch than any place on the face of the earth, and there was no means of detection, no GPS, as a friend of mine once brought up. We put GPS devices on sharks and dolphins, and we know everywhere they go within a foot, but yet this, nobody knew anything. How did this happen? And today, the theories, the comments, the investigations are the most mindless, empty, void, vacant, vacuous. Nothing. What happened? And now they're saying, maybe there might be a criminal investigation. Excuse me? There was more interest in what happened on the Rust set with Alec Baldwin than this. None of this makes any sense, and nobody is buying any of this. It just doesn't make sense. Let's talk about this, shall we? But first, let me ask you to please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell so you're notified of new videos and the like. And remember our great and wonderful sponsor, mypillow.com, that has some of the most incredible items and pieces of just incredibly critical manufactured, luxuriating items, from bedspreads to pillows to quilts to percales to you name it. And their slippers. Dear God, they sell more slippers than you can imagine. And I put a link in the body of this and in the little comment section. mypillow.com. Put in promo code Lionel or type in mypillow.com/Lionel and get a free gift. Tautological? Perhaps, but a free gift nonetheless. All right, my friends, I have been watching this every single day. Every single day watching this. I'm thinking, what is missing with this? Remember the terrible and the horrible, the Challenger disaster? Remember Richard Feynman was a part of that, and he found out what happened when you go up against Washington. There were scientists and there were people who really wanted to know, how did this happen? This is the most, either we're hearing nothing about it, that perhaps behind the curtain there's this incredible, indefatigable, inexhaustible, inexorable attempt to find out what happened. And also to think about, and I don't want to impart necessarily government, but regulation as to why. Who wants to do this? Why would you go to look at this thing? I don't know anything about submarines, and there are atomic submarines that don't even go this far. Whatever possessed genius billionaires to say, okay, I'll do this. Again, not to blame anyone. There's a certain degree of trust when somebody says, we've checked this out. Okay, fine. We've checked it out. And what exactly are you seeing? You're looking through some horrible porthole, maybe, or somebody said you don't even see anything. You just see maybe a picture with, I don't know. Why are you going to just see the remnants of something that you really can't see, that a picture of from a submersible device might be even more interesting or provide more? Is it because you're there? I don't know. And whenever anybody asks the question, why were there so many billionaires? Immediately you're told, don't start that conspiracy theory again. Don't bring up that Federal Reserve stuff again. Don't do it. Don't you love that? And you know the rule. You only catch flack when you're over the target. So apparently they don't want you to ask that question. So maybe there's something to that. Everybody I know, everybody, without exception, says, yeah. And that's the thing that intrigues me. When people naturally say, this doesn't make any sense. Why is this happening? Why is this happening at this level with these many questions? And why isn't there more interest? And before you know it, it's going to be forgotten. It's going to be forgotten like everything else. It's just going to go away. Kind of like the Hunter Biden investigation. It's just going to, oh yeah, that's right. What? Yeah, it'll just go away. And it's interesting to note, I wonder how many fortunes, this is a probate question, but how many fortunes are changing hands, and who benefits, cui bono, cui prodest? And I'm not suggesting any deliberate sabotage or any conspiracy. Believe me. Why do I say that? Good question. Because I don't know anything. And that's the gravamen. That's the essence of my question. Why don't we know anything? How do we not? How did this? We knew more about the Rust shooting with the armorer and the particular make and model of this handgun, and I still submit that, notwithstanding how despicable Alec Baldwin is, I don't think he was criminally liable for anything. Civilly, yes, indeed, perhaps, maybe as a producer, but there was more interest in that. This is different. All we see with this are just pictures of this, the sub, and maybe a kind of a map and kind of where it was, and that's it. It's as though, and I'm just saying this, it's as though somebody said, ask all the questions you want, but don't ask anything important. Don't really dig. Just talk about the people and why billionaires tend to be extravagant and they love daring do, but don't really talk about what this is about. Have you noticed that? Why do you think that is? I'd love to see what your thoughts are. So please put down your thoughts and comments. But first, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And don't forget our great sponsor, mypillow.com. Promo code Lionel or mypillow.com/Lionel. And whatever you do, I ask you now to comment as you see fit.